Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video we're taking a look at the Superchips Flashpack F5 tuner fitting 2015 to 2020 3.5 liter EcoBoost F-150s, excluding the Raptor. If you're looking to extract more performance out of your EcoBoost F-150 with an easy, ready-to-use package, then you're going to want to take a closer look at this option from Superchips. Now, Superchips is one of the longest running names in the game, and if you've messed with the 3.5 EcoBoost engines before, you know that they're pretty responsive to things like a tune. Now, Superchips Flashpack F5 here has a lot of cool stuff baked into an easy-to-use interface that's quick, and it allows you to access a bunch of different parameters to dial your truck in just the way you like it. Now, of course, the main reason you want to go with a tuner is to increase horsepower and torque. Now, Superchips does claim some good numbers with this, so we put it to the test. We filled up our 2017 EcoBoost F-150 that you see behind me here with a fresh tank of 93 octane fuel and strapped it to the dyno to see what we would get. Now, I want to say that we did run our truck in 4th gear, so we got a good clean pull all the way to redline without running into our dyno's speed limiter at just over 100 miles an hour. But take a look at the results. I think they speak for themselves. Now, in stock form, we saw 319 horsepower at 5,450 RPM and 332 pound-feet of torque at 3,300 RPM. Now, after loading up the most performance-oriented 93 octane tune here on the F5, we ran the truck again and we saw 386 horsepower at 5,700 RPM and 423 pound-feet of torque at 3,600 RPM. So that gave us peak gains of 67 horsepower and 91 pound-feet of torque. And we saw some strong curve gains as well. Now, taking a look at the graph here, you notice that it was a little bit lower down in the lower revs, but once boost started to build, it was game on. Above 3,000 RPM, we saw some really serious increases, and I can tell you that even just on the dyno, I felt the difference. Around 5,000 RPM is where we saw the biggest difference, and we saw increases of 112 horsepower and 118 pound-feet of torque over stock. There's some serious improvements there, especially for a preloaded tune, and as you can see, it shifted things more to the mid and upper rev ranges as opposed to the low range like these are tuned to from the factory. Now, Superchips does include several different preset tunes in this module, so you can just upload and go enjoy. Those preloaded tunes can give you bumps in horsepower and torque, and certain ones can also give you improvements in fuel economy and towing performance, depending on what you're looking to do with your truck. Now, of course, you can change these around. You're not married to just one specific tune once you load it up onto your truck. If you want to put on the performance one and go have a blast, great. And if you're towing something the next day, simply go through and flash it back to the tow tune. Now, this is also going to save your stock tune, so you can reset the truck back to factory settings easily at any time should you need to do so. And again, you're not just limited to those preloaded tunes. In fact, they only kind of just scratch the surface with what you can do here. There are all kinds of different parameters that you can modify, such as calibrating the speedometer or odometer for larger wheels and tires, or even a different rear end gear ratio. You can also toggle stop-start, change up the speed limiter, and a bunch of other things. And we'll show you that when we get into the truck as well. Beyond all of that though, this also has data logging capabilities. Now, this will function as a display if you want to mount it up on your dashboard, and it will show you real-time data as you drive, pulled directly from the engine computer via the OBD2 port. Now, if you want to mount this again in a visible spot in your truck, you can cycle through a bunch of different gauges to monitor different things as you drive, and you can log that information and save it as you drive or do a dyno run, which can be helpful if you want to go do different mods or if you want to just see how your truck is performing and the health of your engine is in general. Now, this is also going to allow you to read and clear diagnostic trouble codes. So if you get a dreaded check engine light, you'll have an easy way to read what it is and take care of it. Now, the tuner itself can also be updated via the included USB cable. Just plug it in, download the latest software from Superchips, and you're ready to go again. And we do suggest doing that before you plug this into the truck, just to make sure that you've got everything set up and ready to go. Now, I did plug ours in earlier and it did prompt me to go and update it, which is why when we get to the install, you'll see that that's already been done. Now, talking about construction of a little tuner module like this isn't necessarily the most exciting part, but I think this one's pretty slick. It's very compact and you get a high definition 2.8-inch color display, so even those of us with bad vision can see it pretty easily. And it's just something that's nice. It's one of the smallest ones that I've seen. I like the red color and it feels good in your hand too. And it's small enough and unobtrusive enough that whether you leave it plugged in and displayed or just hidden away somewhere, it's not gonna get in your way. It's also easy to navigate through the different menus and options via the 5 buttons on the front, and the interface is improved versus the previous gen Flashpack as well. Pricing comes in at about $450, and that makes it one of the most affordable options in the category. And you're obviously not losing out on features here either. So if you want to get some noticeable results and have the additional flexibility that a tuner or programmer provides, this is going to get you there without having to spend a fortune. Installation gets a 1 out of 3 and should only take you about 15 minutes. This simply plugs into your OBD2 port under the dash, and the rest of the time is going to be spent in the tuner itself making changes and uploading the tune file. This one actually moves pretty fast as compared to some of the other tuners I've dealt with, so it's not going to take you all that long. You'll probably just spend some more time messing around and picking out the different options that you want as you go ready to load up the tune. With that though, let's hop on over to the truck and we'll show you how to get this one done. All right, now it is time to install this Superchips flash pack on our 2017 F-150 EcoBoost here. So this is a pretty simple install. It already comes with one cable included. This is going to plug right into our OBD2 port underneath the dash. Before we start this though, a couple things you want to note. Number one, you want to make sure that your battery is in good health. We've got ours plugged into a battery tender since we're doing a couple of tuners at once on this truck. But make sure that your truck has enough battery life to sustain you through the tuning process. The other thing you're going to need to do, and I've already done this, is download the free software from Superchips. It's available right there on their website. You can download it, plug this in, and get it updated before we plug it into the truck, because we're going to want to have that saved and have all the updates ready to go so that this is set. So now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and plug this right into our truck, get the tune loaded up, and see what kind of power it makes. Okay, so we're going to take our OBD2 cable just like this. It's going to face down this way, and we're going to plug it in right underneath of the dash into the OBD2 port. You'll feel that click in, and you're pretty much ready to go. All right, now we've got this plugged in and powered up. I went ahead and turned the key to the run position on the truck. It's going to come in handy later. Make sure you don't start the engine. Now it's also important that once we start tuning this, you don't touch anything, leave it on. That's why we talked about the battery earlier. So navigating through the Flashback F5 here is pretty simple. You've got just a simple 5-button interface. You can scroll over. We'll come back to these things later. And the OK button to get us to the next menu. So here we're going to start with the tuning. So we've got our ignition turned on already, so we'll hit OK. This is going to go ahead and read the vehicle. Now yours might take a moment or two to do that before we get to this menu. Don't worry about that. It sometimes takes a little bit longer the first time you plug it in. So as you can see, we've got a handful of selections here for our tuning. Now we're obviously interested in how much power we can get this thing to make. So we're going to go with the 93 Performance tune, the top one here, because our truck is running 93 octane. Now if you're running 87, you can do that one. If you're looking for towing or just a little bit more performance, you've got the more balanced ones here, and you've got your mileage saver down here. Now your stock tune will also show up here as well. We'll come back and take a look at that once we've got the tune loaded up. So for now, we're going to start with the 93 Performance one, so we're going to hit OK to select that. It's going to give us this little disclaimer that 93 octane fuel is required, which I know we have in this truck. So again, we'll hit OK. And then it's going to ask you if you want to customize any part of this. Now this is where you can change a bunch of different parameters. So we'll hit OK, and we'll show you what you can do here. So the rev limiter and speed limiter are going to give you the option of leaving it stock or raising them up. Now you can select either one of those. We're going to leave everything as it is, so we get a pretty apples to apples comparison. And when you want to go back, just press the left arrow. So same deal here for the speed limiter. Now here you can change your axle ratio or your tire size. Our truck is totally stock, so we're leaving that alone, but if you've re-geared the truck, you can select a different one here. Same deal with the tire size. You can change from 29.5 inches all the way up. We're leaving ours totally stock, so we're not doing anything there. You can adjust your front and rear tire pressure monitoring systems separately. You can also disable TPMS as well. So again, ours is all being left to stock. And you can see we have TPMS enabled. So one other thing that you can do here is also disable the auto stop start. So instead of having to push the button on the dashboard every time you get in the truck, you can just disable this right here should you want to get rid of that feature. So we're going to go down and hit continue here, and then we start the tuning process. So this is going to build the file. Again, this is also going to save your stock file so that you can reload that back to the truck when you're done. This is the part that will take the most amount of time, more than likely, so you're just going to have to be patient. Again, make sure once you've started this process, you don't touch anything. So make sure the truck is in a safe location, somewhere it can be left if need be. And then we're just going to let this run its course and follow the prompts on the screen. So this is going to ask us once more if we want to program the tuning file, which we do, so we'll hit OK. And this is going to go through and prepare everything for us. All right, now it's asking us to make sure the ignition is on and not start the engine, which it already is, so we'll hit OK. Now this is the part where the dashboard's going to go out, some modules are going to click, you're going to hear some relays clicking and things happening. Don't worry about all that, it is perfectly normal when it comes to this tuning process. So, trying to worry about it, and just let this thing do its thing. There, now it's resetting the vehicle, so everything is coming back on. And this will nicely automatically clear any diagnostic trouble codes that the truck may have that might have been caused by the tuning. Again, a bunch of stuff is going to flash, it's going to bing and bong at you for a bit. Just let it go. Okay, now we'll turn the ignition off. We'll hit OK. All right, our tuning file is now installed. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this back to the run position. We hit OK, and that should bring us back to our stock menu. Now, before we touch any of the other stuff in here, that'll bring us, really? And that brings us back to our stock menu. Now, before we go into some of the other features here, I want to go back into this tuning menu because, again, I want to show you where the stock tune file is. So again, ignition on without the engine running, and it'll bring us back to this, menu. Now, if you scroll down, you'll notice 93 Performance stays highlighted with these little red bars on either side. So that's telling us that's the one that is installed. So when we scroll down here, we can hit OK and select our stock tune. We're not going to do that quite yet because, again, we want to run this on the dyno and see what kind of power we make first. And if you're satisfied and just want to go back, press that left arrow, bring us back to the main menu. So scrolling over, we have the scan function here. So if we hit OK, this is going to bring us into a diagnostics menu. So you can read and clear diagnostic trouble codes, you can see gauges and do data logging, and you can see your battery voltage. So we'll start with this one. So we'll go ahead and read the diagnostic trouble codes. So our ignition is on, engine's not running, we'll hit OK. And we see we've got no diagnostic trouble codes, partially because this just reset any that we might have gotten from the tuning process. So we'll hit OK. If you need to clear them, you can do that right here as well. So hitting the left arrow to go back, we have the gauges and data log section. So you can mount this up on your dashboard and see a bunch of different information that's not necessarily available on the instrument cluster when you're driving. And you can record some of that too, should you need it for diagnostics or for maybe custom tuning later on down the line. So this is going to gather some information from the truck, and it's going to allow us to select up to 8 information displays within the different groups. So if we hit OK, we'll see what we can go through. So if you scroll down here, these are just the different groups. So if you have anything you want to pick, really, there's all kinds of different parameters. So we'll go back up. Let's see, we'll start here with engine miscellaneous. So we have our boost pressure throttle. Let's see, we're going to pick that one. And you can pick a bunch of different other things too. Let's see, our engine coolant temperature. And then we can go back and select some other ones. So we'll go to intake and get our intake air temperature. Those are important. And we'll see some other things too. You can have non-engine related ones like barometric pressure, volts, ambient air temperature. Some of this stuff does display on the dashboard. So you can go through and play around and see what you want. Let's see, we'll have one of our O2 sensors. Okay. And then once we're ready, we go down to start and hit OK. And this gives us another one. So when the gauges are up, we can hit OK and it'll start data logging and save it. You can hit OK again to stop it. All right, and now we see our different values show up here. And if we were to start the truck, obviously these would change a little bit. So if we want to start data logging, we just hit OK, changes to green, and hit it again to stop. And if you want to get out of here, just press that back arrow. And if we come down here, back to this menu, we've got battery voltage, so this will tell us what our battery voltage is. Now ours is sitting at a nice healthy 12.5 because again, we've got this on a battery tender. Hit OK, and we go back here, and that brings us back to our main menu. And we also have just device information. You can get some vehicle info. Again, it'll tell you what tune is on it, your VIN, a couple of other things. If you go to device info, this just tells you some information about this. Ours is now VIN locked to this truck. That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install of the Superchips FlashPak F5 tuner for 2015 to 2020 3.5 liter EcoBoost F-150s, excluding the Raptor. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, for all things F-150, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.